way up and then going way down when you least expect it. I must remind you, Stephen A., that this season, Joe Flaco registered the 2 worst QBR games since the stat was introduced in 2008. I'm talking about on a scale of 0 to 100. Flaco had a .3 at Houston and a .4 at home against Peyton Manning. Just all-time abysmal games. And I will remind you that just a year ago, before the AFC Championship game in Foxborough, the great Ed Reed publicly criticized Flaco for, quote-unquote, getting rattled in the previous playoff game at Houston. And I will remind you that this year, those Ravens were in danger of losing 6 of their last 7 games. They did lose 4 of their last 5. So maybe I better wait one more game to retire Flaco.
Well, if you're going to wait one more game, then it's important that you acknowledge that, again, the postseason doesn't mean that much to you. Because if you're going just by the postseason, the man's been in the league for 5 years. 5 years, he's won a playoff game.
Yeah.
He's won games on the road. He's outperformed elite quarterbacks in this game. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady.
Yep.
So when you look at it from that perspective, there's no reason to sit there and to have any kind of disrespect. See, Flaco is disrespectful. Now to sit there and say...
Is it accurate? Was it accurate? Did you not use that nickname occasionally this year?
First of all, relax, calm down. No need to get off.
Calm down.
I was saying you did have. There was a moment there where there was some slippage on my part, and I called him Flaco, right along with you.
Because he was Flaco.
I understand that, but that was the regular. But that was the regular season. These are the playoffs, and when it comes to the playoffs, he usually performs. Even years ago when they lost to Pittsburgh, and he was 4th and 29, he hit the T.J. Houshmandzadeh right in the chest, and he dropped that pass, okay? So again, but he put it there. So this is a guy that's big. He's got a big-time, strong arm. He can make all the necessary throws. You've raved about how he's got Jacoby Jones. He's got, he's got Anquan Bolden. He's got all of these boys. So if you recognize that, and you recognize that he's performed in big games, does it get any bigger than the Super Bowl? The answer would be no. And as a result of that, I'm going to anticipate that Joe Flaco will be anything but Flaco. And I think it's fair to suspect or expect you to assume the same.
Okay? Scale of 1 to 10, how much do you trust Flaco in a Super Bowl against the 49ers?
I trust him enough to say that I don't think he'll be Flaco. Now, whether he'll be elite to the likes of outplaying Brady and Manning to that level remains to be seen, but I don't think he'll be Flaco.
Okay, I would give it on a scale of 1 to 10. I would trust him a 6. He's earned that much from me. 6 on a scale.
I'd be slightly higher, around the 7, 8 range. But the point is that, again, there's a difference between not being a star on the biggest stage and being Flaco.
If he wins the next game, he is Flaco. Is he elite?
If he wins the Super Bowl?
Yep.
I need to see it.
Okay.
I need to see how he performs in the Super Bowl, even if they win.
Here we go. Colin Kaepernick is 7-2 as the 49ers starting quarterback, including the playoffs. But he will face a Ravens defense in his next start that has already beaten Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you trust Colin Kaepernick against the Ravens defense, Skip?
Good question. Stephen A., even against that nasty Ravens defense, with all that savvy and physicality, I'm going to go all the way up to a 9 on the trust meter for Colin Kaepernick. And I remind you, this is only his 10th NFL start, and I'm going to 9. I'll tell you why. Even if he makes an early big mistake, big stage blunder by Colin Kaepernick, as he did against Green Bay, I trust him to bounce back brilliantly. After that pick 6 against Green Bay, was he not all-time sensational in that game with his legs and his arm? And after his team fell into a 17-0 mid-second quarter hole in that house of noise that was the Georgia Dome, did he not bounce back out of that hole with all-time great poise and control of the offense? I saw no fluster. I saw no rattle on his part. I saw total control of the offense. I saw him changing plays at the line of scrimmage in that din of noise. I saw throw after perfectly pinpoint accurate throw. I saw a young quarterback who said, oh, okay, the defensive ends aren't going to let me run today? I'm fine with that. Here, Frank Gore, and here, LaMichael, boom, boom, boom. I saw a quarterback who has high degree of big stage poise, as we've seen all year long from him. He has earned my respect in just 9 games now. to get to the point of having a 9 on the trust meter.
Well, he's earned my respect, but also I think the Baltimore Ravens defense helps in the category of Colin Kaepernick and what he'll be able to do, because their defense bends, but they don't break. But they do a lot of bending. I mean, you're talking about how many occasions was it? 6 or 7 different occasions that the New England Patriots were in the red zone. They had an opportunity to score. What I'm saying to you is that, again, with Tom Brady, what did they have to worry about primarily? His ability to throw the football. When he ran, you saw he looked like he could get a first down, but he ended up, just throwing it away because Elodie Nada, of all people, was after him. Yep. So when you look at it from that perspective, clearly if that was Colin Kaepernick, he would have gotten the first down. He would have ran for that and probably more. You look at the Baltimore Ravens defense, it's a bit suspect at time. Again, it makes big plays, but at the same time, it gives up stuff from time to time, particularly against a running quarterback like Colin Kaepernick. Then when you see him run, even though it was against Green Bay's defense, it was the versatility. Willing to run against Green Bay, willing to defer against Atlanta, because you see that Frank Gore and LaMichael James were doing what they did. I look at those decisions. It's not just his ability to run the football. It's not how impressive his throws have been. But he seems to have figured it out as it pertains to passing. And more importantly, he seems to know when to run and when not to. That's a huge, huge deal, particularly on a big stage like the Super Bowl.
What did we see from Colin Kaepernick right out of the box when he first started against the Bears? Remember that game?
Guts.
He was sensational in that game.
Playmaker.
Yeah, playmaker. Then he goes to New Orleans. I realized that defense was way down early in the year, arguably the worst defense early in the year in the NFL. But it was starting to come together. It was starting to get back on a roll. And all of a sudden,
I'm not
Kaepernick
climbing
goes
into
to New
this,
Orleans
so.
and just lights them up. And that's where I had an issue with Jim Harbaugh.